My name is Svyat, and here is my story of how I turned 6,000 in debt into 1.3 million. I was the shortest and shyest kid in the classroom from the small town in Ukraine. Starting out as a migrant worker who moved from Ukraine to London, I built a successful construction company called CraftX with a turnover of 1.3 million in just 4 years of being in London. Today I have an online business and a school called 𝐲𝐶𝐚𝐭 that also bring in 7-figure sums every month. I've bought an apartment for my daughter in London, visited over 40 countries, and at my 32, I'm living the life I always dreamed about. But this video isn't about bragging, it's about inspiring those few who are ready to reach the new level and build their successful business, online or offline. I'll share the secrets I've gained over 10 years in business. Secrets I've never shared anywhere else. I was born in a small town in the 𝐥𝐴 region. As a kid, I always played sports and was a straight A student. The only thing I behaved so badly that my mom was always called to school because of me. After school, I enrolled in 𝐲𝐶𝐚𝐭 Agrarian University, which I call Agrarvard. I lived in the student accommodation that looked worse than a prison cell in England. I always did boxing, wrestling and MMA, which kept me respected by both my peers and all the guys. I was pretty short, so I learned early that if I wasn't strong and couldn't fight, I'd be I always choose to hit rather than be hit. At university, I was in the top 3 in academics, but I always had a lot of behavior problems, especially in the student accommodation. One time when my friends came to visit me, we almost destroyed half the place and I almost got kicked out of the university. Looking back, I can honestly say that those were the best times of my life. Even without money, I had 3 girlfriends and lots of friends. I trained hard in boxing and wrestling and drank vodka in the student accommodation on the weekends. The only thing is, I never used any of the knowledge I got from university. Universities in traditional education are scam. Giving you a degree you can stick in your I didn't even bother to pick my diploma. And I'm not just talking about universities in Ukraine, this is complete shit. In London, many of my friends paid hundreds of thousands of dollars and can't even find the job after graduation. Even when they do, they make about 30,000 a year, which isn't enough to rent even nice apartment in London. When the war started in Donbass in Ukraine in 2014, I knew things were about to get really bad and I needed to make some money. I got the chance to go to London for work. I borrowed money from everyone I knew, and even my mom borrowed from her friends. I got around $6,000 and went to London. My first impression of London was much worse than I expected. The city seemed big, grey and rainy, and it felt like everyone was trying to rip you off. I lived in a shithole called Putney, outskirts of London, and worked in the Tesco warehouse for $6.50 an hour. Every day I rode my bike in the rain, soaking wet, thinking, what the f I'm doing in this place. Shared a small room with a friend and bunch of other people in the same house. Every morning after the night shift at the warehouse, I'd go to the gym to train. It was always just me and my friend there. I couldn't believe I was living in this shitty life. I felt like a nightmare and I was determined to do everything to succeed. I found a boxing gym and met the coach Vitaly, who helped me to get a job in construction. My friends and I moved to London and rented a room for 3 of us near Poplar Station in a council house. It was one of the worst apartments I'd ever lived in. I started on a construction site as a demolition laborer, getting £60 a day. I still remember my first day. There was so much dust that I couldn't barely see more than a few feet ahead. At the end of the day, I asked, where could I take a shower, guys? And the guys just laughed at me. So I had to ride a subway home completely dirty. I knew I need to move as soon as possible. At the boxing gym, I met another guy who helped me to get a job as a carpenter's assistant. With the money I earned from demolition work and some borrowed cash, I bought tools and started learning on the job. I didn't even know how to use a drill, so the guy training me had to do twice the work. Even though I changed the jobs often, I was still broke and I felt like I had no future. Eventually, I got fired from one job because instead of working, I was reading books on how to pick up chicks in the locker room. I realized that that wasn't going to get me anywhere. And if I was already in this situation, I needed to be better than everyone else to get noticed. I knew that as a Ukrainian in the foreign country, I couldn't climb to high positions like the English managers who had been in the industry for years. So I decided to master carpentry by working hard and learning to do everything right. I earned the trust of management and started hiring people. At first, I brought in friends who were good carpenters, convincing site managers that we'd get the job done faster and better, which we did. This allowed me to earn much more than top managers on £1 million projects and helped me to reach my first 10K a month. I remember with the excitement finally buying myself a new clothes and 𝐤𝐭𝐸 watch for 1.5K. I started going on the dates with the wealthy Russian-speaking girls at my favorite place, Calvin at Windows. Finally, I could afford to spend £300 on the date. Of course, I never told anyone that I worked in construction. Instead, I said I owned my own business. With my confidence, the girl thought that I was a son of the billionaire. But the real turning point came when I met my future business partner, who worked as a project manager for a large English company in central London. We started taking small jobs and splitting the profits 50-50. My partner Konstantin brought in a big project from Russian startup, which we completed in 3 weeks and earned 350,000. This success led to more projects and our business quickly grew. By the end of the year, we made 700,000 before taxes. In 2019, I celebrated the New Year's in Paris, reflecting on how hard work and desire to learn helped me to succeed. Our business model was to hire workers directly and subcontract only specialized works, which allowed us to achieve higher margins. But the success didn't last long because we had a little experience and we worked with this client without a contract. This led to us being underpaid by 50,000. We argued with the client and lost our main source of income. I regretted this mistake for a long time, but when I found out that this company eventually went bankrupt due to poor business practices and failed to pay subcontractors over 10 million in pounds, I realized that we got off easy. It taught me that the universe always gives you lessons at the right time and the right cost. But over time I realized there are easier and faster ways to make money. For the last 5 years, I searched for the new business models and talked with the dozens of entrepreneurs to find them. One day I met a mentor who opened my eyes to the secrets of making money online. He showed me how to earn money even while I sleep. This mentor taught me the methods that were right in front of me, but I had no idea about them because I was so busy doing pointless shit. Thanks to his advice, I started getting 7 figures online every month, traveling the world, and staying completely independent from current events like inflation, crises, and wars. With the financial freedom, I can live the life I always dreamed of and do what I want from anywhere in the world. I visited places I never thought possible, like Rio de Janeiro in Santorini, met amazing women, had incredible experiences, and made more money that I know how to spend. You are probably wondering what you can do to achieve the same results. I've launched a business community where I share the business models I use right now, such as appointment setting, high-ticket remote sales, affiliate marketing, creating info products, personal branding, and much more. You can find more about this in the description below this video. See you on the other side.